Okay, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you turning this here channel on. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. Well, I'm expecting a false flag here in about 7 months, and I'm going to go ahead and basically use their own words to prove it. So, or at least in my opinion, just in my opinion. But I don't. Anyway, I'm gonna let's see here. Let's start with this. I'm sure everybody knows about the whole Israeli-Gaza situation that started on the 11th. Is not getting any better, and in fact, it's escalating. And now, this came out today, right? Yeah, it came out. Israel is ready to invade Gaza if ceasefire efforts fail. Well, spoiler alert, everyone, they're gonna fail. And before I go any further, I forgot to mention this. I made a video a couple days ago called Iran's unloading nuclear fuel, and I had Artsy Fartsy Woman and Kasparaspark or Kapasark or something like that. I'm sorry, I know I butchered your name, but I apologize. And they both brought it to my attention. That story was published last year in February, so I do apologize for that. I made a mistake. I go through a lot of articles, so that's why I make videos for people to help. I look through a lot of stuff and I miss some things. That's so I do apologize. I don't mean to try not to mislead anyone. So I made a mistake. I'm learning from it. And I hope you can forgive me. So let's move on. But I do apologize, and I'll do my best to not repeat that mistake again. Okay, so things are escalating out in the Middle East. Now let's go to The Guardian. Iran steps up pace and capacity of uranium enrichment, says IAEA report. Israel's red line could be hit in June, the point where Iranians have enough 20% enriched uranium to produce a warhead. And we all know about this whole red line because old Bibi went to the UN this year and gave that big epic speech, and he drew that red line right there, and he says once they get to this red line, that's the point of no return, and we're going to be forced to do something to protect ourselves because they're going to kill us. Iran's going to nuke our entire country. And I want to go ahead and show an article from the Wall Street Journal that came out, what day was it? Oh, the 16th, where they corroborate this, saying Iran set to double nuclear fuel capability. Report from UN watchdog agency puts Tehran closer to producing enough enriched fuel for a weapon. Worries overcome. So you got 7 months until they're going to do this false flag because they're going to have, and it doesn't matter. Iran says it's for peaceful purposes. It doesn't matter. Whether it's for peaceful purposes or whether it's for hostile intentions, it doesn't matter because, as we've seen with that damn speech that Bibi gave, his mind's made up. He's going to go over there and attack them no matter what. But, you got to have some sort of justification for it, which is where those brilliant little false flags come in. And here, I'm sure everybody's seen this video. I won't play it, but I'll put the link below, where you have this guy. I know he's not really on camera very well here, but he's an Israeli lobbyist named Pat Clausen, I think his name is. Is that right? Yeah. And he went on and just gave a speech not too long ago about how he admits that we need, saying Israel, we need a false flag to start war with Iran. And he talks about how, and the United States has had our own military admit that we use false flags. And not only that, we've used false flags in Iran to justify going to war and to start confrontations and conflicts and wars and stuff like that. So we've had our own people, our own government officials talking about how it's not possible, how it's done. So in 7 months, when Iran gets to their little red line, as Bibi says, Israel's going to do something, and we're going to get involved because we got to have Israel's back, and even if we don't, we're going to get involved either way. And so then here comes a false flag to justify ourselves going to a whole world war with Iran, and we know it's coming anyway because that's been part of their plan for a long time. So, it sucks that I have to die in order for them to go to war with Iran, but hell, whatever gets me off this rock quicker is okay by me. And here is an even more amazing little clip here. I won't play it, but this is, well, you know what? Yeah, because I kind of need to. So you guys have probably seen this, so if you have, I apologize and just skip it. But this was with Greta Van Susteren, and this wasn't too long ago, and I don't know if it's going to play.
My favorite one.
There we go.
Here's our secretary.
That's me saying that. Ha!
Walked away from this, didn't give them money today, it would be worse for us from a security standpoint. I do. We're building a relationship that just did not exist. I said in our last trip when you were with me that we had a huge trust deficit, in part because the United States had, to be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything's going to be so much better. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
And you want to hear something great about that? You want to know who the leader or one of the big leaders of that whole movement about the whole, using the Islamists to fight the Soviets? Osama bin Laden. We recruited him, trained him, weaponized him and his little friends to go do that. So all that BS aside, people think the false flags are BS. Don't even want to listen that our own military admits it. Guess what? This is the same situation all over again because the Arab Spring over there that we're all, the United States all supports because it's all about democracy. Guess what we're doing? We're over there recruiting, training, and weaponizing all these rebels who are part of Al-Qaeda, and then we're just going to pull out after all these countries are toppled and they have their democratically elected leaders, then we're just going to pull out. So it's going to happen again, even if anybody doesn't even believe in the false flags. It's the same situation all over again. It's amazing how these situations, conflicts, wars, they just keep repeating themselves over and over and over and over again. It's amazing. So it's going to happen in 7 months, according to BB or whatever. The red line is going to be reached according to the Wall Street Journal, according to Business Week. So I'm expecting some sort of false flag in the next 7 weeks before Iran it really does achieve and gets their little red line. And let's see here. I want to show this. I want to send a thank you to Lou, to Z Bear for sending this to me because this is pretty incredible. I saw this. They were covering this on the Drudge Report, but I didn't actually watch the video. But this is pretty incredible. The Drudge Report was saying how even they were admitting that CNN is airing faked injuries by Palestinians. And keeping your eye on that dude right there in the old beige jacket that just got carried off by a whole bunch of people. The audio is not necessary. I'm sorry I'm talking over it, but it's not necessary. And there's old Anderson Cooper. Well, you know what? Just do it. Injured Palestinian dressed in a beige jacket and a black t-shirt is carried away in front of the TV cameras. Yep. He looks hurt. Looks hurt real bad. Miraculously recovered. It's a miracle! There he is standing on his own. He looks good, doesn't he? He looks alright. That's great. Way to go, CNN, doing your job as usual. The old crazy news network, as I call them. It's pretty good. So, and look, I'm not standing up for Israel. I'm not sitting here saying that Israel's awesome or anything like that. All I'm trying to say is that all these world governments, all these world politicians, they're all working together to basically mind cuss the entire world and to get people to buy into their propaganda bullshit wars for their own sick objectives. That's all I'm trying to get at. And I want to go ahead and show this. This is pretty interesting too about another reason for the Gaza war right now. The real reason for the assault in Gaza is from Zero Hedge yesterday, and I even made a video about this last week. I was showing about how Abbas was talking about doing this. We noted yesterday that many speculate that the timing of the war in Gaza is because it is 1, after the U.S. elections and before the Israeli elections, or 2, part of the run-up to a war with Iran, and a third reason is also quite possible. On November 8th, the Washington Post reported that Palestinians took the first step towards raising their status at the United Nations from an observer to a non-member observer state Thursday by circulating a draft resolution to the 193 UN members states and asking for their support. There are no vetoes in the General Assembly, and the resolution is almost certain to be approved by the world body, which is dominated by countries sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. Approval of the resolution would elevate the Palestinians to the same status as the Vatican. The draft resolution states that to date, 132 nations have recognized the state of Palestine. The upgraded status would add weight to the Palestinian claims for a state in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem territories captured by Israel in the 1967 Mideast War. Israel pulled out of Gaza in 2005. The Palestinians also hope to use their upgraded status to join additional UN bodies such as the International Criminal Court, where they could attempt to prosecute Israel. At the same time, they have expressed fear of financial and diplomatic retaliation. And let's see, let's get to here, a little bit further down here. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas accused Israel on Friday of launching an assault on the Gaza Strip to undermine his efforts to secure a diplomatic upgrade at the United Nations. Abbas said that he thought the escalating military campaign was aimed at sinking his own diplomatic maneuverings. Everything that is happening is in order to block our endeavors to reach the United Nations, Abbas told journalists. Let's see. The upgrade would enhance Palestinians' legal rights at a time when peace negotiations with Israel have hit a wall over Israel's refusal to halt settlement building in territory where the Palestinians want their state. We are going to vote on the resolution of our becoming an observer state on the 29th of this month. So the 29th of November, we should be looking for that date and see what kind of, there's going to be news that day. Either the vote got denied or the vote, was granted, was approved. Both Israel and the United States have condemned the planned vote, which Abbas looks set to win, saying it violated the 1993 Oslo Accords, which were intended to pave the way to a final status agreement within 5 years. So I'll be watching on the 29th of November to see what happens with that vote. And also, I also want to bring up that I think this Thanksgiving is also another date to watch, not as far as like a World War III start or a rapture date or anything like that, but as far as just, we have the December 31st, New Year's Eve, we got the NDAA sign. The Super Bowl, while that was going on, they were signing other executive orders. They declared that state of emergency with Iran, even though we've been in a state of emergency for a long time. But they seem to use these holidays or these big dates where people are distracted, stuff in their faces, getting effed up, whatever you want to call it, to do things. So I'm expecting maybe some more crazy executive orders or maybe even more crazy laws, to happen or something small, or maybe not necessarily small, but maybe something else to happen on Thanksgiving since we're going to be distracted anyway. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, and I think that's just about covers everything. I'll put all the links below, and that takes care of it. So as far as I'm concerned, we got about 7 more months until that red line is quote-unquote reached, and we're going to have some sort of false flag, got to justify ourselves going to war. Isn't that amazing? History repeats itself over and over and over again. Makes you wonder why. So special thanks again to all my subscribers out there as usual. Without you guys and ladies, these videos probably wouldn't even happen. So I appreciate all your support. Thank you for just keep watching and keep doing what you're doing. Doing a great job. Thanks, teammates. Like I said, I can't catch all this stuff on my own, so I appreciate the Kesper Spark, or sorry when I butcher your name there, and Artsy Fartsy Lady, because I wouldn't have caught that. So I appreciate the help. Please forgive me for my mistake. Thank you very much.